Alright, in today's video I'm going to be doing my first modification to my F250 Power Stroke diesel. Loving the truck so far, 4,000 miles on her. First modification I'm going to be doing is adding an aftermarket trailer brake controller, which I've had this thing for probably about 8 years now. Had it on my last two trucks and I absolutely love this thing. So where am I going to mount it? I'm going to mount it down here. There's a little pocket underneath this audio line input jack / cigarette lighter, so I'm going to mount it down there. Now, in order to properly mount this, I'm going to have to take this off. And if you do plan to buy an aftermarket trailer brake controller like I am, you are going to need to buy a harness, which these harnesses, I mean, they're really cheap. The one I bought is a Contact 3036-P. And just give you an idea of what that looks like, it's pretty straightforward. It plugs right into the Ford factory harness and then into the back of my trailer brake controller. So, real quick, I'll mention why I decided to go with an aftermarket controller. Well, unfortunately, my truck did not come with a factory trailer brake controller. Now, you can buy a factory trailer brake controller online for $100–150. The only problem is, then you have to take your truck to the dealer, or you have to know somebody with Ford Scan. I think it's Ford Scan. I'm not sure if it's Ford Scan or whatever. But you have to go into the computer system of this truck in order to turn that trailer brake controller on, which I'm not all about that. I want to stay out of the dealer as much as possible, so I'm just going this route because I already had this and it only cost $10 for the harness. So, I've determined my mounting location. Now, I want to talk about how you need to remove your dash. So, the first thing you need to do is you need to remove the two screws right here, which those are both 7mm screws. You're going to lift this tray up, just set that aside. Now, could you stand up that plastic tray? Yeah, like that. So this plastic face sits on the front of your entertainment system. And again, you'll find that there are two 7mm screws, bolts, fasteners, what call you, and they sit right here and here. So after you remove those, then you can very carefully pry this thing away from here and turn it around, please. And look, you just have a bunch of these little clips right here. 3 on the top, 2 on the sides, and 2 on the bottom, or 3 on the bottom. I just took my body clip removal tool and carefully pried on the back side of this, and sure enough, it just popped off. Once that pops off, then well, for my truck, there are 4 electrical connections, 1, 2, 3, 4. So just took those off. Now that's out of the way. Now, the next thing that you're going to need to do is gain access to the factory trailer brake controller wire. And that sits behind this panel. And again, you're just going to have to take your body clip removal tool or some type of soft pry object and just sneak that in here on the edges and very carefully pry this back. And on the back side of this, again, you'll find a bunch of little clips. Unfortunately, I broke one small one on the bottom there. That's what it looks like. I'm going to try gluing that back with some hot glue, but look how thin that is. I wonder why I broke it. So don't get frustrated if you break one. You can just glue them back on, which I will be doing. But anyway, you need to pop this panel off. And once you pop that panel off, then you'll have access to this little tray right here. And you do need to take this off in order to get to this tray. But once you take this face off, then you can pop this tray out because that's just kind of held on there with some light clips. And then on the back side of this, you will find that there is a Ford factory trailer harness plugged in the back of this. So you can just unplug that. And now you have access to your trailer brake harness on the factory side of your truck. So then from there, all I'm going to do is take my adapter harness, I'm going to plug it in there, and I'm going to finish mounting my Contact trailer brake controller down in this box right here, which in order to do this properly, I am going to take this box off, so I'm about to do that right now. I think these are two 7mm fasteners, and then maybe, I don't know, they're a little bit bigger on the sides, one on either side, they may be 11 or 12s. So I'm going to take this off, bolt that bracket on there, drill a hole in the back of this for this harness to run through, connect it to the Ford harness, and then I'll check back in with you after I do that. Now, some of you guys may say, well, you're kind of crazy drilling holes in your truck. Well, nobody is ever going to see a little hole down in here. Nobody is ever going to see that. So if I ever do plan to sell the truck, I can either leave that in there, leave the trailer brake controller in there, and just take the trailer brake controller out, and nobody would ever see that hole. So I'm going to continue. Just gonna make a little white mark here, a little white mark here. Doesn't have to be perfect. So with those two marks, now I'm gonna need to get my drill, and I already have some hardware picked out, so let's drill out these holes. We'll mount up the bracket, attach the trailer brake controller to the cable and the mount, and then we'll reinstall this back in the truck. Quiet on the set. Marker. And action. Beautiful. Let's go put it in the truck. Here's the clip I broke off earlier, and again, just look how thin that is. No wonder why I broke it off. I got the hot glue gun out. I'm going to try putting some hot glue on this and try and put it back together. May not look the prettiest, but that should hold just fine. And if that does decide to rip off again when I go back under the dash to do some other modifications in the future, then we are going to try epoxying that back together, but that should hold just fine for now. Alright, and here we have the completed installation, the Takasha trailer brake controller installed on a 2020 F250 diesel. I'm really happy with how it came out. It's clean, it's somewhat hidden, it's still easy to access and to adjust the trailer brakes as needed. And, best of all, we didn't give Ford any additional money. Now, what do you think about these trucks? Them selling these trucks that can tow 15,000 pounds, but they don't include a stock trailer brake controller. What do you think about that?
So silly.
It's so silly, isn't it? Ford, if you're listening, F250s and up, trailer brake controllers should just come standard.
Yep.
Alright, that's it for today's video. We'll catch you on the next one.